Con este ya hemos hablado. Eso es, la verdad es que luego después te paras a pensar y es un poco rollo empezar constante, todo el rato igual, ¿eh? Empezar otra vez y... Medios públicos, estos agujeros seguramente estén diseñados para usar la esponja con un palo. De guarrada. Pero aquí estamos todos. Este le pillaron, pobre hombre. Recuerda siempre que están observando. Teófilo organizó una orgía con 4 chicas y las decidió a todas por igual. Ese lo había visto ya. Y la decidió a las 4 por igual. Muy buena esa. A las 4. Aquí está la mujer.
Help. You have to...
Mostrar solo los marcadores de objetivos relacionados.
Thank you. I have...
No estés ahí.
What?
Toca a mí. Bueno, chicos, lo vamos a dejar. Es un poquito tarde ya y yo creo que lo mejor es dejarlo. Sí. Quiero probar otra vez con el tío este, a ver qué pasa. Vamos a probar otra vez. A ver si soy capaz de... Es que son muchas cosas, ¿eh? Son muchas cosas y tenemos poco tiempo. Juegan con eso, ¿eh? Pienso yo. Muchos sufrirán por los pecados de uno solo. ¿Y aquí qué hay? Onda. Una escultura de un general griego desconocido sin casco. Anda. Jarrón griego, eso es lo que decía, ¿no? Que hay... Una estatua griega, seguramente de la diosa a la que está dedicado este templo. Quizás algún residente griego de la zona sepa más sobre ella. Anda. Oye, ¿y esto? Pues se está cargando. Es que hay muchos sitios donde ir, tenemos muchas cosas que hacer y tenemos muy poco tiempo. Casi que cada partida tienes que centrarte en una cosa sola. Una lira griega que se toca con un plectro. Una estatua griega de la cabeza de un niño. Esto es largo, ¿eh? La escultura griega en mal estado de una mujer. Sin duda algo lleva mucho tiempo. La lira. Mal rollito si por aquí nos encontramos con alguno, ¿eh? Anda. Venga ya, hombre, tío, pero ¿qué es esto? Va a decir ese tío, ¿tú de dónde vienes? Discover, arqueologista, ¿no? Discover what lies.
Ah, a visitor.
Una visita. Este tiene que ser griego.
Welcome, welcome. May I ask your name? It's a sincere pleasure to meet you. Tell me, what brings you all the way down here?
Encontré este lugar por casualidad.
Then perhaps the fates brought you here to learn the secrets of this place. I will tell you everything I know, but first, a request. I have been living down here alone for many years, with nobody to talk to but myself. The one thing I long for above all else before I die is a good philosophical argument with somebody astute.
Vaya por Dios.
I'm hoping that person is you. Let us find out with this simple question. Have you deduced the name of the god responsible
Todavía
for the
no.
golden rule?
No lo sé todavía. Aún no.
You have much to learn. It's best if you figure it out on your own. Come back once you've made progress. Then you should speak with your contemporaries in the city above. Ask them about their stories and see if you detect a pattern of some sort. It is best if you come to this realization for yourself.
Nunca me creerías si te lo
If I
dijera.
told you. Ah, you've returned. I will tell you everything I know. But first, the one thing, let us find out.
Pues no sabemos cómo se llama. Fallo mío. Lo tenía que haber dicho tú primero. Dime cómo te llamas primero ya. Vale. Pues quiero ver a dónde nos lleva esto. Pues casi que... Bueno, parece que no nos podemos caer, así que... Una bañera grande que ha sido remodelada como una cama un tanto excéntrica. Puerta cerrada. Así que este tío lleva años viviendo aquí. Qué loco.
Ah, you've returned.
Sí, sí, lo que tú digas, güey. Pues vamos a seguir adelante. A ver hasta dónde llegamos. Ah, amigo, que hemos dado la vuelta entera. Leche, si hemos dado la vuelta entera, claro, hemos venido por aquí. Míralo. Míralo. Hemos dado la vuelta entera. Ostras, tío, tiene esto de ricobicus. O sea, tú fíjate que da la sensación de que el mapeado es poca cosa, pero no. Para nada. Es bastante grande, ¿eh? Es bastante grande. Los puntos de carga a veces son... Vale. Súper tarde, tío. ¿Ya? Ok. Flipante, chaval. Esto la verdad es que no me lo esperaba para nada. Está guay, ¿eh? Ha estado muy guay. Yo qué sé, tío. Es que esto es... manifestando su inocencia. O sea que...
Hello? Hello? Have we...
¿Sabes cómo salir de aquí?
You're going to let me out of here? Really?
Eso no es lo que te digo entonces.
Please?
Se pone muy triste. Deja de hablar con el magistrado sobre cómo sacarte de aquí. El magistrado te ha puesto aquí por una razón.
You're mean. I don't like you.
Me parece a mí que ya a este ya. Y si la llave resultara que abre la celda. Hombre, lo bueno es que cuando vuelva todo a resetear, puedo volver a hablar con él. E intentar... Así, un cuenco de cerámica de hornilla antiguos para contenido amoníaco para lavar y blanquear la ropa. Voy a intentarlo otra vez con este.
Stop right there.
Vale. El santuario vacío.
I'm not sure I believe that, so allow me to... I am here with... So, if you tell me the truth, I will allow you to live. But if you lie to me, or other... Is that understood? Thank you. Now tell me, who are you people, and what is this place? A small community. I was told Quintius was a cultist, but I never thought he'd be foolish enough to lead me right... Oh, don't play coy with me. I don't care if you're worshipping Bacchus, Magna Mater, or Christ. You lot are all the same to me. Always sneaking off to your secret sanctuaries, indoctrinating each other with your little mantras. The Emperor may have tolerated your activities up until now, but after what Quintius did, those days are numbered. You say that, but if you're not a cult, then why go to such great lengths to keep this place a secret? So you admit you're not allowed to leave. That sounds an awful lot like a cult to me. And I saw the inscription saying, the many shall suffer for the sins of the... You've clearly been indoctrinated into the... Now tell me, where did you... You lot are practicing... Yes, because I'm the real villain here. It's all clear to me now. What baffles me is how a person can be... However, you still have a...
¿Qué hace falta para que lo dejes estar? ¿Oro? Llévate todo el oro que quieras.
Gold? I don't care about gold. You don't seem to understand the situation, so let me make it abundantly clear. The only thing I care about is carrying out my duty to execute the cultist Quintius. I have spent many exhausting months tracking this arsonist through cities and villages, roads and forests, bribing stubborn travelers and peasants for leads. At times, I was so bone-tired I could have sworn I'd approached the brink of death. But still, day and night, I pressed on for the glory of the Emperor. So, you see, I know he's here. Turning back is not an option, and right now, the only thing standing between me and my triumphant return to Rome is you. So, for the last time, are you going to tell me where he is? Or do I have to put an arrow in you and ask the next person I meet?
Que supiera que no te ayudaría. De hecho, sí que sé dónde está.
Ah, suddenly it's all coming back to you, is it?
Lo vi rezando en un santuario pequeño y redondo fuera de la ciudad. Es el segundo edificio a la izquierda.
Thank you. For your service to the Empire, I'll let you live for now, but you'd best make sure our paths don't cross again.
Y si a lo mejor... Me parece que no tiene tiempo. Tiene que matar a la gente. Bueno, a todo esto, ¿yo puedo entrar aquí? Puedo entrar, pero se va a cargar a alguien mientras tanto, claro. Por ahí llegamos a entrar. Bueno, ¿dónde está este hombre? ¡Ostras, qué grande! Le hemos dicho que se fuera aquí y al llegar aquí se ha muerto. ¡Buah, qué grande! Es verdad. No se me había ocurrido. Cuando estaba hablando acerca de mentirle y decirle tal, yo digo, se va a cargar a alguien por ahí de camino. Pues estuvo muy bien fabricado. Coger objeto. ¡Ostras, qué guapo, tío! Madre Dios. Qué tonto que soy, de verdad. La primera vez lo tenía que haber hecho, pero... recta como una flecha. El emperador Nerón ha ordenado la ejecución del miembro de una secta llamado Quicio, el cual tiene un ojo de cada color. Por orden del emperador Nerón, ordena a todos los hijos leales de Roma que cacen y ejecuten al incendiario y asesino Tiberio Quincio Crispo, ciudadano del distrito aventino de Roma. Tiene entre 45 años, es de altura y complexión media, cabellos negros y tiene un ojo verde y otro azul. Normalmente no lleva barba. Se sabe que está relacionado con sectas y que sufre de delirios de grandeza. Coger flecha emplumada. Opcional. A la 1. Madre mía. Es un perdedor. O sea que ya sabemos lo que tenemos que hacer para quitarnos de encima a este tío. ¿Quién iba a pensar, macho? No sé. Rufio.
A new face. Ave and may vest.
Vale.
Interesting. What else?
Vale.
That's true. What else? Yes. It's as... Let me ask you this.
Una mujer
And
joven.
did you... I
Karen.
see,
Capucha.
because I've seen... But don't follow too closely. We can't have people thinking we're bathing together.
No te acerques mucho.
You there? I'm sorry to trouble you, but I couldn't help but notice that fine bow you're carrying. No idea how you managed to get your hands on it, especially in the light of our dear old magistrate's ban. But and before you ask, no, I wouldn't dream of trying to buy it from you. I have no use for a wooden bow myself. But I would like to propose a joint business.
Es que estoy ocupado,
You're
digo.
not interested in the massive riches beyond imagining.
Hazlo, dice.
Tell me, do you have any idea how people here end up as golden statues?
Las estatuas cobran vida y les disparan
And here
flechas
I was
doradas.
thinking I was the only one to figure it out. In any case, supposedly one or two of those arrows is enough to turn a full-grown man into gold.
Sí.
Now, of course, that is a travesty, a terrible, horrible waste of human life, which has to be stopped. And yet, on the other hand, I can't help but think of a tale told by that Greek fella Aesop, the goose that laid the golden egg. With the ability to transmute organic matter into gold, one could create infinite wealth. Use your imagination, golden animals, insects, trees and plants. The Midas touch without the drawbacks. We are talking riches beyond imagining. And even if we were to split all those riches between the two of us, half of infinite wealth is still infinite. Interested?
Creo que la hoja de los huevos de oro no es más que una fábula precautoria.
Look, I might have skimmed over that one, but don't be so pedantic. Are you interested or not?
No seas pedante.
Excellent. So the first question is, how do we get our hands on one of those golden bows? Now, I have a plan. But first, tell me, are you familiar with the story of the goddess Diana?
La verdad es que no.
No problem. Allow me to explain. Diana is our goddess of the hunt, the moon, and the underworld, depending on who you ask.
Entonces es
The
Diana.
one thing priests and poets agree on is that she carried with her a golden bow and a quiver of golden arrows. And it just so happens that there is a shrine of Diana in this very forum, with a prominent statue of the goddess herself. And would you like to guess what she's holding in her hand?
Un arco dorado.
Precisely. I can't tell you how many hours I've spent in that temple staring at it, trying to figure out how to retrieve it without breaking you know what.
Pero que lo robé yo.
Oh, gods no! If you tried that, we'd all be dead within moments, I'm sure. No, here's what I propose. You give your bow to me, I cover it in a thin layer of gold leaf, and we create a replica of a golden bow. Then you enter the shrine, extinguish the braziers, and under cover of darkness, swap out the fake for the original. It's not theft exactly, it's more of a trade.
Y si
But
funciona
make
cada
no mistake, this is a dangerous path, and there's no way of knowing where it will lead. But in my experience, all the best adventures begin with a risky first step. Now, you must have questions. Ask away. Because the gods would see you, of course. Hence my proposal. I'm more of an ideas man, whereas you're obviously the more resourceful and heroic type. I have complete confidence in you. When Prometheus stole fire from the gods and became a hero to all mankind, do you think he was worried about the danger?
Prometeo también recibió un castigo eterno, si no recuerdo mal.
Only because he was silly enough to get caught.
Porque se dejó atrapar, si no. Son tantas las preguntas que tenía que hacer.
So, are you in, partner?
Si no te gusta la acción y te atrae el miedo, puedes rechazarlo. Si no te gusta la acción ni te atrae el miedo, puedes rechazarlo.
Wonderful. Now, if you'll hand over your bow, I can get started applying a layer of gold leaf. This is a quality weapon. Now, bear with me for a moment. And here we are, a gold leaf bow.
Arco dorado falso. ¿Dónde? ¿Y dónde aparecen esas cajas?
Now I've gone and unlocked the Shrine of Diana for you, so as quick as you can, head on inside. It's just at the end of the street on the left. May the gods not watch over you.
Está justo al final de la calle. Bueno, yo... tengo que reunirme con esta mujer. Me interesaba más esto. Hola. ¿Y la sacerdotisa dónde está? Jolín, cómo mola esto, ¿no? Vale, aquí es donde nosotros caemos.
All right, you're here. You were asking how I knew the young woman you met by the river was wearing a hood. Here, look down at the bottom of the baths. It's a little hard to make out in this light. If only we could see. Oh, what a marvelous lamp. But do you see it? Somebody waking up by a river in a forest to find a hooded figure with a coin.
Ostras, es verdad.
It's just as you described it, only your pronunciation is a little off. The name you heard wasn't Karen. It was
Caronte.
C-H-A-R-O-N, as in Charon, the ferryman of the dead. Charon, who, in exchange for the right coin, helps the souls of the newly deceased cross the Styx, the river that separates the land of the living from the land of the dead.
When I dragged you out of the river, I thought you were never gonna wake up. I checked your pockets for ID, but all I found was some loose change. Feels like I've spent my whole life in a dead-end job with an endless commute. Sorry if I sounded cagey, it's just that I don't always get the best reactions when I introduce myself. My name's Karen.
Karen.
I'm so sorry, my friend. I'm so sorry. I take it you know what this means.
Este lugar es el inframundo.
I'm afraid so. It's all starting to make sense. All these people whose last memory was running from the fires toward the river. It seems none of them escaped with their lives after all. Perhaps we should be grateful they don't remember their final moments. It also tells us that the Golden Rule is the work of Pluto, the god of the underworld, and why his epithet has always been Father
El
of
padre de las
Riches.
riquezas,
I know
Plutón.
it's a lot to take in, and you look as if you have questions, so I'll try to answer them if I can.
Vaya tela, entonces estamos muertos.
That was my first thought too. In the old stories, the underworld was where the souls of the deceased were taken. But it was also possible for the living to reach it without dying, if they were particularly fearless. So I'm afraid I don't know.
Aguerridos, sí, puedes llegar al inframundo. En teoría era... Hércules llegó al inframundo, claro.
Oh, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting you're not from here. If you were Roman, or even Greek, you would know these stories. Each of them is slightly different, whether the storyteller was Plato, Homer, Virgil, or Ovid. But they always involved the souls of the dead meeting a grim ferryman named Charon on the bank of a river. It was said that he'd help the new arrival cross, only if they could pay him with a coin,
Óvulo.
an obol. That's why it was once our custom to bury our loved ones with a coin in their
En la
mouths.
boca.
Charon's obol, we called it. Of course, an obol was a kind of Greek coin, because we inherited this knowledge from the Greeks. To be fair, the ferryman isn't exactly as the poets described, and he, she, they seem to appear to different people in different guises. You say you saw a young woman named Karen with a hood, and I once heard Kabash mention a stranger in a ram headdress named Kurti, and Rufius described meeting a stranger named Kumut Tabal wearing an eagle headdress. But whatever form this stranger took, they were always wearing a hood of some sort, and their name always began with a K sound. I suspect the only way you'll solve this riddle is if your paths cross again.
Se vuelvan a cruzar.
Good question. Let's see. In the stories, Charon would always require a coin as payment for passage
Pero
across
si no
the
llevas
river.
nada,
But that never made any sense to me. What does an ancient immortal being need
Las
with
monedas.
coins? In our case, it seems Charon didn't take the coins we had. He or she
Si
merely
teníamos
checked
una.
we had one in our possession. So, maybe there's something special about the coins each of us had on us. That might explain why we wound up here, but
Monedas
so many
especiales.
others did not.
¿Estabas intentando ocultármelo?
No. I mean, I had my suspicions, especially after Livia's ramblings, but I would never have figured it out without your help. I promise you.
Esa pregunta sobra. Esas eran todas las preguntas que tenía que hacer.
Now that we know where we are, we have to figure out what to do about it, if we don't want to be cast into gold for eternity. We don't have much to go on, except the old stories. I remember 4 in particular about heroes in the underworld. Hercules, the
Hércules,
demigod
eso
and
es.
son of Jupiter. Orpheus, a Thracian poet. Sisyphus, a king of
Eneas también
Ephyra.
me sonaba.
And Aeneas, a Trojan hero. Hercules was able to leave the underworld because he cowed its god with his strength. Sisyphus and Orpheus both relied on their wits instead. They persuaded the goddess of the underworld, Proserpina, to help them escape. And finally, Aeneas was able to escape with the help of a spirit guide, who led him through a secret gate. So it seems you have 2 options: to confront the god of the underworld head-on, or find a way to escape with the
Proserpina o
help
de
of
otra guía.
Proserpina or some other guide.
No podemos escapar por donde entramos.
It's a reasonable question, but the problem is, this place is fairly well designed to keep us here. There's no way to climb up the shaft. And even if you could build a ladder big enough, just trying it would break the golden rule. We know that, thanks to the writings left behind
habido
by
gente que lo ha
those who've
intentado.
tried.
Pero que no te resulta cómodo llamar al dios del inframundo por su nombre. ¿Por qué
All
razón?
Romans try to avoid saying it, and the reason is quite simple. He might hear us. You may refer to him as Pluto, if you wish, but you'll only be calling attention to yourself. Do so at your own peril.
Plutón. Cuéntame más sobre más sobre enfrentarse al botón cara a cara.
Is everyone so blunt where you're from? Oh. That option would be the boldest,
Es la única manera de saber
but
la
also
verdad
the
sobre,
only
e incluso
way
la
to
forma de
learn the
acabar con
truth
ella.
about the golden rule, and maybe even put an end to it. As I said, Hercules managed to overpower the god of the underworld, but he
No eres
was a
descubrir.
demigod. Forgive my candor, but you are no Hercules.
Tengo unos cuantos trucos bajo. Hércules no podía manipular el tiempo.
Are you telling me that you can? I won't pretend to understand exactly what that means, but if that's true, then perhaps you stand a chance. So, if you want to confront him, I'll help you as much as I can. Who knows? Perhaps your name will be uttered in the same sentence as Hercules one day. But first, you'd need an audience with you-know-who, and for that, you'll need to enter the great temple overlooking the city.
El gran
The
templo es.
problem is, the door has been sealed shut
La
for
puerta
as
está
long
cerrada
as
desde hace
I've
tiempo y
lived
parece
here,
que no tengas
and there doesn't
siquiera
even seem to be a
cerradura.
keyhole. I suspect the answer lies in the desecrated obelisk in front of it. I'm not sure if you noticed, but there are 4 plaques missing from its base. It looks as though somebody, or a series of somebodies, forcibly removed them, and in doing so, dishonored and angered our divine keeper. If you could recover and replace all 4 of those missing plaques, I imagine he might be willing to receive an audience again.
¿Qué me puedes contar sobre el
It's the
obelisco?
towering stone monument with 4 sides and a pyramid-shaped head that stands before the great temple, a dedication to the god of this place. You'll find them all over Rome, but of course they were looted from Egypt many years ago. It seems one of them made its way here too, although how is a mystery. However, this one is unusual in that each of the 4 sides is decorated in a different style.
Romano, griego,
Roman,
egipcio.
Greek, Egyptian, and another I don't recognize. That means you'll need to recover 4 different plaques. Roman, Greek, Egyptian, and a 4th, a mystery
Los
plaque.
egipcios también estuvieron aquí. Herculia, pregúntale a Equicia por la ubicación de las placas perdidas. ¿Y dónde podría encontrar la placa romana?
Good question. To answer that, we first need to ask who would have defaced the obelisk in the first place. It would have had the god's name engraved into it, so it may be that whoever desecrated it wanted that name to be forgotten. And there's only one group of people I know of who might want to do that. There's a cult in Rome that often argued there is only one true god. Theirs, of course. They've been known to start fires, as well as deface religious monuments whose existence challenged their beliefs. If I were you, I'd go looking for them. Of course, they've all been in hiding since the fire last year, so finding them won't be easy. But I did hear a rumor they have a secret shrine somewhere in the city. Perhaps, if you could find that, you might be able to recover the Roman plaque.
Vale, ya sabemos dónde está. Lo que pasa es que no podemos entrar.
I don't know. But perhaps you should begin your search with the local Greek fellow, Georgius. His store is in the forum.
La placa. Pregúntale a Duri por la placa griega. Joder. Pregúntale a Georgio por la placa griega. Su tienda está en el foro.
Perhaps Kabash, our Egyptian resident, will be able to tell us. Unfortunately, he disappeared weeks ago. But I did hear Aurelia is peddling rumors about him at the tavern, so perhaps you could talk to her, or just take a look in his room.
Madre mía. La de cosas que están saliendo. Pregúntale a Aurelia por Kabash. ¿No podemos? No sé por qué.
I'm afraid you're on your own with that one, but perhaps finding the other 3 will illuminate the way. As I mentioned, both Orpheus and Sisyphus were said to have persuaded Proserpina to help them escape, and Aeneas was guided to the exit. The problem is, those are the stories of a poet, a self-aggrandizing king, and a brawler about their own heroic deeds, so they should be taken with a grain of salt. First, Proserpina. What we do know about her is, Well, it's a grim tale. It's said the god of the underworld
Eso es.
abducted and dragged her here against her will, forcing her into marriage.
Puede que esté dispuesta a perjudicarlo para ayudarnos.
If the stories are true, then I suppose so. The problem is, how do we communicate with her without being noticed by her captor?
Evidentemente.
Leaving that aside for a moment, there is also the possibility of a spirit guide. I don't suppose you've come across one of those in your
Ni
travels?
tengo ni idea de lo que me estás hablando. He ido como... Ah, vale.
Truly? And you're only bringing this up now? Then again, I suppose you were worried I'd think you were as mad as Navia. Can you tell me more? Is it the same voice? What kinds of thing does it say?
Bueno. Siempre la misma voz y es útil, aunque un poco enigmática.
Fascinating. Perhaps she's a benevolent spirit. Or perhaps...
O
Perhaps
sea, entonces,
you're hearing the
si
voice
es
of
ella
Persephone
la que nos está
herself.
ayudando realmente,
If she has indeed been abducted, it would make sense for her to speak in cryptic whispers to avoid detection. Tell me, has she told you anything that might lead you to the way out?
dice, lo veo con sus ojos, tal. Por ejemplo, cuando estábamos con el rollo del arco, ¿os acordáis? Cuando estábamos con lo del arco, escuchamos un susurro que decía, acepta, acepta. Cuando ha aparecido Desio y decía que iba a convertir el arco en oro y no sé qué, ella dijo, acepta.
Oh, I see. Well, let me know if you hear anything that might be a thread through this labyrinth.
Todo listo para comenzar.
Right. I would suggest not discussing this with anyone. The best we can do for them is to let them remain oblivious for as long
Esta
as
tía es
possible.
súper inteligente.
As for Livia, it seems she's been shouldering the weight of this terrible secret all this time. Perhaps it would comfort her to know she's not alone.
Esto prioriza la nueva misión y mostrará solo los marcadores de objetivos relacionados. Comenzaré buscando la placa romana, comenzaré por la primera
In any
orilla.
case, time is of the essence, so you'd best begin. May Fortuna guide you. Although you may not need her with Proserpina on your side.
Voy a salir corriendo. Una cosa que quiero mirar. Botella, hogaza de pan tengo 3, o sea, vale, eso está muy bien, porque las cosas que voy consiguiendo cada vez, en cada partida se guardan. ¿Puedo meterme en el agua? Sí, puedo meterme en el agua. Vale, pues a mí me interesa vale 23 flechas. Recuerda siempre que están observando. Ve contra la corriente. Ve contracorriente. Buah. Bueno, se va a quedar una super pedazo de bloque de partidas brutal, chicos. Lo que me fastidia es que se va a ser la hora ya de que vayan a votar, ¿sabes? Aquí está lo de... Es que se me juntan las cosas, tío. Se me juntan las cosas y no me entero. What? ¿Y eso? No, vale, es una antorcha que está ahí. Yo diría que se han ido todos ya a votar ahí. Ah, no, menos mal.
Cerberus lifts his dribble head and lets out his threefold braying.
Livia, would you stop muttering like Medea over a cauldron? You'll scare away my customers.
They follow their trades, imitating their previous lives, but they are ignorant.
This again. You're in a world of your own, aren't you?
Ahora.
Just as the ocean accepts the rivers, but it does not. Say it. Speak its name. Then it is true. I was right. I thought I saw it, but when the rest of them could not, I kept thinking I must have gone insane.
Pues ya.
I had to tell myself it was true over and over again, until I wasn't sure if I was deceiving myself. I must apologize if my words seem cryptic. I'd found comfort in reciting the metamorphoses by our great poet Ovid. He gives such an uncanny description of this place. I cannot help but wonder if he himself came here. Would you like to hear it? I will do my best to remember the relevant verse. There is a downward path, gloomy with fatal yew trees. It leads through dumb silence to the infernal regions. The sluggish Styx exhales vapor, and by that way, the shadows of the newly dead descend, entombed with full rites, and the ghosts of those, at last, given proper burial. The wide, thorny waste is cold and pallid, and the newly arrived shades are ignorant of the road that leads to the Stygian city, where Black Dis has his cruel palace. As the ocean accepts the rivers of all the world, so this place accepts all the souls, and is never too small for any populace, nor notices the crowds that come. There the bloodless shadows wander without flesh or bone. Some crowd the forum, some the house of the ruler of the depths. Others follow their trades, imitating their previous lives, and still others incur punishment. I hope I have done it justice, and now we share a secret. It's as if you've lifted a great burden from my shoulders. Thank you, friend. I think I should rest.
Pues ya puedes, yo qué sé, asearte un poco y... La caja de Pandora.
Vote for Malleolus for a free drink at my tavern.
¿Qué están limpiando? Por ahí es por donde se iba, a donde se encuentra la placa romana, supuestamente. Pues hay sitios. Bueno, aquí mismo. Vaya hombre. Aquí mismo. Esto no podemos subir. ¿Cómo subo yo aquí? Arriba. ¿Los cofres se respamearán? Se respamean los cofres, tío, qué crack. Ostras, tío, pues tengo que ir a un montón de sitios. Espérate. ¿Hay algo ahí? No. Pensaba que sí. He dicho que es contracorriente. No, pero no me puedo agachar. por aquí no puedo ir. Esto sí que... no me lleva a ninguna parte. Tengo la sensación de que hay tantas cosas que hacer. Bueno, puede ser que a lo mejor más adelante nos indiquen así que ese templo está hecho para Plutón. Puede ser que más adelante nos indiquen cómo acceder a esos sitios donde aparecen las especies de palometas, ¿no? Como luciérnagas, medio... ¿Y aquí por qué no puedo ir? ¿Por qué no? Mira. Pues está claro. A ver. Claro, es que este realmente no es el arco. Bueno, pues ya lo voy a dejar, chicos. Ahora sí que voy a dejar que llevo ya más de 1 hora y media. Le he dado un buen tute hoy, Le hemos dado un muy buen tute.
Are they? Ah, you've returned. Ask them. Good. Now, was there something else you wanted to discuss?
No parece que haya nada nuevo,
Ask them.
¿Qué quieres decir cuando dijiste que me había enviado Proserpina?
Good. Now, thank you.
Podría trepar por aquí si ellos pudieran con mi peso. Pero claro, es que cuando dice eso no lo entiendo, no entiendo exactamente a qué se refiere. Luego después está el tío que se mata, que no sabemos si eso es algo que tiene que ocurrir constantemente. Ahí está el tío ahí que no se ha suicidado todavía. Pero oye, es importante saber que se respamea el dinero. Eso sí que no me lo esperaba. Guardando.
Salve, friend. I'm Octavia. Welcome to life under the golden rule. That's good. If you're not on edge, you've not been paying
Porque no has
attention.
prestado atención, pero
But on
mirando
the
al lado
bright side,
positivo, cuando lleves
once
aquí
you've been
unos
here a few
meses...
months, it's slightly less terrifying anyway. We've all been where you are now. I remember when I first arrived. I used to lay awake at night contemplating the big questions. Why am I here? Is there a way out? What is the golden rule, and who or what is responsible for it? I still don't have any of the answers, I'm afraid. I don't think anybody does. But I'm happy to share with you what I've learned. Even if I had seen it, and I'm not saying I have, I couldn't in good conscience give it to you. That's all I'll say.
Quizás al magistrado le gustaría saberlo, saber.
What you're doing is disgusting, and it's not going to work. Shame on you.
Qué vergüenza.
All right, well, it was lovely to meet you. I look forward to getting to know you better over the coming months. And if you ever...
I can't believe this is how it ends.
Oh no. No. Oh, Pierce, what are you doing? Get back from there. If you lose your balance, you'll fall.
That's the idea.
Ulpio.
What? Why? Why would you want that?
Why do you think I'm stuck for the rest of my life working for a man who treats me like an animal?
I know things are hard for you right now. They're hard for all of us. We're all in this together, Ulpius. Please just think this through. If you do this, it could be the sin that seals all of our fates. Is that what you want?
I'm sorry, but I just don't care anymore.
Please, Ulpius. Help him. If he goes through with it, it could be the end for us all. I don't know what to do. I've never had to deal with this sort of thing. Please, you need to talk to him. I don't know, but it's a crime for slaves to take their own lives. And a debt bondsman isn't far off. Thank you. And please, choose your words carefully.
Let me guess. You're going to lecture me on how suicide is a crime against the Empire. I screwed up my life. That's what's wrong. I borrowed money, and when I couldn't pay it back, I wound up in debt bondage. I'll be stuck slaving away for that culus cumulatis malleolus for the rest of my life. I am out. Wherever you are, send Tilla my love. I'm sorry.
Ulpius, no!
¿Cómo se sentiría Cynthia si él se suicidase?
I can't believe he went through with it. Oh Lord. That poor lamb. Well, I suppose it means suicide isn't a sin under the Golden Rule. So I guess that means whichever god is responsible for
Madre mía.
it isn't mine. I'll have to let everyone know what happened. And I guess Malleolus will have to clean up the mess in his villa. It's of his own making, after all. And I'd best pray for poor Ulpius.
Me dice que lo siga. Bueno. Salto de fe.
Thank you. Thank you. I am delighted and deeply honored to have been elected your magistrate. Yes. Thank you. I'm delighted and...
Ostras, tío, cómo mola esto, de verdad.
And now, I make this solemn promise to you, good citizens. And now, I make this solemn promise.
Esta es la forma de entrar. Esta es la forma de entrar, jóvenes. Buah, pues ahora sí, chicos, ya lo dejo aquí, de verdad. Lo dejo aquí, guardamos aquí. Y está claro de que esto es un reinicio, vas aprendiendo cosas, vuelves a hablar otra vez con la peña nuevamente, así que bueno, hay que estar y hay que hacer muchas cosas, hay que centrarse en una serie de cosas cuando te has centrado en unas, luego después en la siguiente partida, cuando pierdes, vuelves otra vez a reiniciar y así, y así, y así, y así. Muy interesante, muy chulo, me está encantando. No sé a vosotros, pero ahora sí, está cogiendo un tono muy chulo y muy, vamos, súper interesante y súper, vamos, me estoy enviciando, ya veis. Llevo aquí, en este bloque de partidas, llevo casi 2 horas, así que sí, se nota. Bueno, espero que os haya gustado. Como siempre podéis comentarme lo que deseéis, darle un pequeño like por favor, suscribiros si lo habéis hecho hasta el momento, y para todo lo demás os emplazo al canal Juegos Perdidos. Cuidaros mucho y hasta más ver.